Hello, I'm Lucas Kitchen. Today I want to explore the question, what is heaven? So, many people seem to imagine heaven as us sitting on a cloud, strumming a harp, but how soul-crushingly boring does that sound? Now, others think heaven might be like a non-bodily or non-physical experience, or maybe even outside of time, but to me, that sounds super creepy and weird. So none of those are the case. Heaven, sometimes called the kingdom of heaven, and the Millennial Reign, which is part of the kingdom of heaven, will all be bodily, physical experiences where we experience the passage of time and physical existence in a way that is at least somewhat similar to what we experience now. And all of that will happen on a world, on a planet. So, let's start with where the Old Testament believers went after they died. Let's kind of rewind in time here a little bit. So Jesus' parable of Lazarus and the rich man in Luke 16:19 through 31 gives us some thoughts on this. So it's a place called the place of the dead. It's a way to translate it. And in the story, Jesus mentions that Abraham is there. And there's kind of like a righteous area and an unrighteous area. And we know from Scripture that Abraham was saved by faith, as stated in Genesis 15, verse 6. So Abraham there, it says, believed the Lord, and he credited it to him as righteousness. So this shows that even in the place of the dead, those that are in the righteous quarter, the righteous segment of the place of the dead, they are there by faith. So that's good to know. Now, let's move to the current heaven. A little bit different. Apostle Paul tells us in 2 Corinthians 5:8 that to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. So that means that when believers die, if you're a believer, when you die, you'll immediately go to be with Christ where he is, which right now is in heaven or paradise. So salvation has always been by faith, not by works. And we see clearly with the thief on the cross how he got into heaven. Despite having just no time whatsoever to do any good deeds or any good works, he placed his faith in Jesus, and he expressed that verbally right there on the cross. And Jesus assured him that he would be with him in paradise that very day. So that's where we go when we die in this current dispensation. So it highlights that faith, not works, is what grants us entry into heaven, faith in Jesus. Now let's discuss what happens when Jesus returns. So in Revelation, definitely it talks about a millennial kingdom, 1,000-year kingdom, but there are different interpretations on what that millennial kingdom actually means. Now I personally believe in a literal 1,000-year kingdom of heaven on earth, as described in Revelation 21 through 6, for instance, where Christ will reign directly in a period of peace and righteousness, and the world will be kind of renovated. And then after that millennial kingdom of heaven, we enter into the eternal kingdom of heaven, as described in Revelation 21, a couple chapters later. So here, God will create a new heaven and a new earth, where he will dwell right there with his people. So there will be no more death in that phase. There will be no more sorrow, no more pain, and everything will be made new, and that period will last on into eternity. Now, it's important to recognize that the ultimate kingdom of heaven will be a physical, planetary, in-time existence. Either it'll be on this world renewed or on an entirely new world, new heaven and new earth. So let's address now the fate of unbelievers, because that's kind of the opposite. The Bible speaks of the lake of fire in Revelation, and this is kind of the ultimate destiny. So the final destination is this final destination is for those who have rejected Christ. So my view is that the lake of fire represents eternal conscious torment with varying degrees of punishment based on one's actions and knowledge during this life. And that's suggested by something Jesus said in Matthew 11, where he talked about how judgment day will be more bearable for some. But it is important to acknowledge that there are different opinions on the topic. Some respected believers hold to annihilationism, and in that view, they feel that the lake of fire ultimately leads to the complete destruction or cessation of existence for unbelievers, meaning that they just will eventually be completely burned up and no longer exist. So, different opinion there. Now, in summary, believers can look forward to being with Christ immediately after death, and they can look forward to a future millennial reign of Christ on the earth and the ultimate eternal kingdom of heaven, where God will dwell with his people forever in a new heaven and a new earth. So interpretations on eschatology and heaven can vary, obviously, and these differences should not divide us. We should be together as believers, even if we disagree on end times. So the Bible provides us this reminder of the importance of faith in Jesus, because that's where we want our destination to be. So, thanks for watching today. If you've got more questions or thoughts, please send them to me. You can put them in the comment section. I'm Lucas Kitchen, and I'm so glad that you spent a little time with us today. Thanks for watching.